will you personally or your organization that you represent tell us that you will replace that $60 billion that we have offered you in this bill?
Chairman, Congressman Inslee, I would say that CCS is important, but if you're asking me to make a personal commitment that I will personally put $60 billion into carbon sequestration, that's not a very serious question, Congressman.
Will your company
My association?
Yes.
My association represents small, medium-range companies that actually work on behalf of Ohio.
Got it. Thank you.
Mr. Carey, you mentioned that this legislation had provided only $10 billion for carbon sequestration. I think in your testimony, the chairman and Mr. Inslee say that the legislation provides $60 billion. I want clarification. Where do you get your numbers, and where does
Mr. Chairman, Congressman Salazar, I'd be more happy to provide that.
If the gentleman would yield, I thank the gentleman. Yes, there is a 10.
If the United States were to cap greenhouse gas emissions without similar commitments from the developing nations, how much would that lower total worldwide greenhouse gas emissions from burning coal?
Mr. Chairman, Congressman, we would not simply be, there would not be a lessening, there would actually just be a displacing of the carbon dioxide emissions. And we simply look at what China and India, what they will do over the course of the next 20 years, the fact that their demand for coal, their demand for energy, the fact that they're bringing power plants online, the only people that would be affected by this type of legislation would be the American people, the people that are paying the electric bills every day. And go to point in fact, Administrator Lisa Jackson actually admitted this, I believe, in testimony before the EPW committee, as did Secretary Chu. So both are very aware that this type of legislation would do little to curb overall worldwide CO2 numbers.
What foreseeable impact will the EPA's endangerment finding and pending regulation have on domestic coal industry? And how are you preparing for something like that?
Chairman, Congressman, we are actually in litigation right now on the endangerment finding. We have a lot of concerns with regards to the way the EPA came up with their data. Again, I mentioned it. They talk about the IPCC study 48 times, and actually in the supporting documents, company documents, they reference it 395 times. So, you know, we have a lot of concern with that. But I also have to look at the fact that the idea that you didn't have to find endangerment, you may make a ruling. It was completely up to the administration on this. If you look at what Administrator Jackson actually said when she was in the EPW committee testifying on behalf of if legislation such as the Carey Boxer bill were to have passed, would she still need to find this regulation? And she answered yes. So, you know, we're very concerned with this, and we're concerned about what that would do to the jobs. Again, we're talking about the elimination of thousands of hardworking coal mining jobs in areas of this country that don't need to be hurt economically any more than they are. This is about families. This is about small grandchildren. This is about people that are trying to provide for their families, and we are very concerned.
And while we have you here, and you are the experts in the field, perhaps we could just get brief comments from you on this. The U.S. Mine Safety and Health Administration cited the Upper Big Branch mine with 1,324 safety violations from 2005 to 2010. In March of this year alone, the mine was cited for 53 safety violations, including improper failure to ventilate the combustible gas methane. Is that a typical rate of violations for mines, and can you give us your sense of what is needed in this mine safety area in order to make sure that we reduce the likelihood that other families will suffer what is now being borne by those families in West Virginia? Mr. Chiaro.
Well, I'm a board member of Cloud Peak Energy, the former Rio Tinto division.
As I mentioned in my written testimony, Mr. Chairman, and also I believe my oral, the importance of mine safety is very critical to Ohio. I do want to give an anecdotal example just real quickly. I was driving in, and there's a barn that on my way to the airport from my house in Ohio, and on that barn it says, "Every day is Earth Day to a farmer." And I can assure you that every day is Mine Safety Awareness Day to every coal operator and every coal miner that goes into the ground every day. The issues revolving around this tragedy We do not know all of the answers yet. We do not know, I don't know the level to what the fines, the seriousness of the fines, or the amount of fines, or the size of the mine, or any of that. It's not in Ohio. But I can assure you that will be addressed, and we just have to keep those miners and their family in our prayers.